아프리카 TV 브레이크업 스튜디오 라이브 2020 GSL 시즌 코드 S 쇼다운.
What is up, everybody? Welcome back to GSL Code S. This is day 2 of the round of 8. And day 1 was already incredible. Amazing plot twists unfolding there. And I expect, so at least at the bare minimum, some amazing games here from day 2.
Well, there better be.
Yes.
That's what we're looking forward to. It's been a pretty sick GSL so far, and the round of 8 is already shaping up very strangely.
Yeah.
Of course, Dark and Maru out.
We got 2 upsets.
Yeah.
But that makes it all the more exciting. It's good to see a shift in the landscape of who's dominating. I think today, I think our second best of 5, a little bit harder to call.
Okay.
But I think our first one, we were talking a little bit before the show started, and we were informed that of how one-sided Deer's record was against Cure, which we were kind of aware of, but I didn't realize how strong it was. 9-0.
9-0.
In GSL Code S, there was
crazy.
the reverse of that in one super tournament match where Cure won.
Yeah. So are you saying it's easy to predict then? You think Deer's going to
take
that
so.
down?
Yeah, I think it's a reasonable thing to bet on.
Yeah. Well, it's certainly history has unfolded as such, but I'm going to go ahead and say Cure's going to beat him.
You might be right too. It's possible.
Cure's just looking too good lately, man.
Yeah.
And I think a round of 4 is just not outside of what he can do at the moment. So I'm feeling Cure, but I'm not feeling him get to that finals, man.
Of course, in the round of 4 now, we know it will be TY versus Parting.
What a crazy round of 4 match.
That is such an exciting round of 4 match.
And look, you know what I want so bad? I just want the finals to be Parting Innovation so that people waking up out of a many years coma won't be startled. They'll look at it and be like, oh, okay, everything's fine. I just took a nap.
Nothing changed.
Yeah.
Yeah, TY versus Parting is going to be fun. I'm very curious to see the planning those two will do against each other.
Yes.
Because TY and Parting both really, you can see it in their play and in the way they use their strategies. They put the work in, they put the hours in prep.
Well, it seems like Parting put in about 1 hour because he used one build order over and over, which, by the way, is apparently infesting the ladder right now.
Oh, I believe that. Yeah. Well, it's just a very difficult thing to play against, right?
Yeah,
the way that you can control the map and pop in and out and hit different locations with those stalkers. So today we have Deer versus Cure and then Trap versus Innovation.
Yeah, these are 2 good matches. I think that both these sets, they're really well made for each other.
And before we get into the first match of tonight, we're going to have an interview with the 2 players. And whoever wins out of these 2, it will be their round of 4 in 4 years. First of all, it's Deer. And Deer, it's your round of 8 in 1 year. How was the preparation? Well, it is my round of 8 in a long time. And it's a best of 5. So I practiced really hard. And if Deer, you advanced to round of 8 in 1 year, Cure, on the other hand, advanced to round of 8 in 4 years. How was your preparation, Cure? Well, I practiced really hard too. But I'm sure Deer practiced a lot too, so I think we can have a fun match today. And 2020, Cure, you have definitely changed. You've defeated all your nemesis and all your difficult enemies. And in the recent Super Tournament, you beat Deer, who has always been your Achilles heel, who is right beside you. So after the win, did that have any influence on your preparation today? Well, in the past, when I played against Deer, I lost a lot, and I had no confidence against him. But recently, I felt like I've developed myself as a better player. So there hasn't been much hardship. So I'm gonna play with confidence today. And from Deer's perspective, in the Super Tournament, you lost against Cure, and that was quite unexpected. So how was that? Well, every time I play against him, I always won. So I had the mindset that I can win no matter what. But I can clearly tell that Cure has improved a lot. But that time, I think I lost because all my builds didn't work. But today, I'm not gonna lose easily.
그런데 전태양 선수가
However,
경기에 앞서서
on TY stream,
이동준 선수가 아니라
TY mentioned that Cure is going to advance out of these two today. So how was that?
태양이가 약간 펠레 이미지를
You know, TY is often he's often notorious for making false predictions. So I think in his mind, he probably wants me to win.
김동 선수도 별로 반기시지 않으시죠?
So Cure, you're probably not happy about this, right?
말고도 다른 프로 게이머
But other than TY,
다 제가 이긴다고
all the other pro gamers said that I will win today. So I guess there's a reason for that, right?
오늘 자신 있습니다.
So I have confidence today.
서로 다 자신감 느껴지는데요.
And both players seem to have a lot of confidence going into today's match.
서로에게 한마디 나눠보고
So before we get into the actual match,
공유해볼게요.
do you guys have anything to say to each other? First of all,
같이
Cure?
아이디가 좀 친추돼 있어서 연습하는 걸 좀
I mean, we have each other on the friend list, so I saw him practicing a lot.
열심히 좀
And
머리
since
쥐어짜서
I've made
준비했는데
a lot of preparation as well,
열심히 한 만큼 좀 재밌게 했어요.
I hope we can have an exciting match today.
견제하시는 게 좀 느껴지거든요. 백동준 선수.
Alright, dear you,
저도 도욱이랑 굉장히 친한데
I mean, I'm really close to Cure,
만나게 돼서 약간
and playing against him,
아쉬운 면도 있고,
it's a little
네,
disappointing,
오늘은 제가 이기겠습니다.
but I think I'll win
네,
today.
알겠습니다. 자,
Alright.
과연 4년 만에 4강에 오를 선수는
Who
누구일까요?
out of these two will move on to the round of 4 in 4 years?
지금부터 시작하겠습니다.
I don't know. I wasn't ready to answer that question. Thank you, Andy. Yeah, man, I don't know who's going to move on, though. For real.
Yeah.
I think it's probably, if I had to guess, Deer. I mean, Deer's had a lot of success in the past, but
I think he's a fine bet.
But, you know, look, people are obviously improving very rapidly, and whoever's on top is changing very quickly with this season.
Yeah.
We had a long off season of StarCraft 2 before we got to start things up in 2020 here. So we're really seeing those changes reveal themselves here in this season, especially with partying advancing, for instance.
Oh, definitely.
So maybe Cure does take it here.
Well, you know, I think right now the matchup is trending a little bit more towards Terran, of course, much more than it was in the past, at least.
Yeah.
And I think that Cure is just, he's in such good shape right now. I really kind of just believe in him to do well. And while Deer is a good player, like, yeah, he did his Royal Road and he won a big tournament right after that. And then he did pretty well at BlizzCon that year. And then he kind of has been so up and down since then. I never believe in him as much as you know, the people who do. Like,
no, I get that.
All the time pro gamers are like, oh, Deer is so good, he's one of the best. And then he just, like we heard, right, he hasn't been to the round of 8 in, well, I guess it's been like a year for him, but then...
Well, let me put it like this. He's been one of the most inconsistent, successful pro gamers, I think. I think maybe the most inconsistent.
He might be.
Yeah, I mean,
like, he doesn't...
if you take all the GSLs, there's times where he dies immediately, there's times where he wins the whole thing. There's times where he's looking amazing one week and then abysmal the next.
When he does well, it's not a fluke.
Right.
And when he does poorly, it's not a fluke. Like, he's just kind of an inconsistent... His peaks are really high, but his valleys are very low.
And take somebody like Partying, for instance, who was a world champion and a Protoss player, who's had seasons where he wasn't that strong. We knew he took a lot of time off, and we knew he was at times playing in the qualifiers for fun. He says he's back in new form. He's doing very well this season. That makes sense, right?
Yeah.
That's more out in the open. You can unpack that. With Deer, I find it just hard to get an idea of what's going on. And even with his great record against Cure, I don't know.
Yeah.
Now, Cure, on the other hand, also a player who I think we could always say has been very good, but overshadowed by the other great Terran players that are out there.
Yeah, he certainly has been, but I feel like he's knocking on their door at the moment. He's not quite in.
And I'd also say more consistent than Deer, even though he hasn't had the same level of success as
recently.
Deer's had.
Certainly,
Yeah.
recently, especially when you start counting online events, Cure has been one of the strongest players. So, yeah, I mean, I'm kind of feeling him taking out Deer here tonight, personally.
So Nightshade will be our first map to start this best of 5 off. After today is finished, we will have finished the final 4 slots, and we will be ready for the semifinals. So in one of those 2 remaining slots, either Deer or Cure. Again, tricky one to call. I'm leaning a little bit towards Deer. Artosa's saying Cure. We're going to Get closer to getting to that conclusion as we finish up game one. For now, let's start our best of 5.
전투 준비 완료. 타이지 게임 디어 백동주. 드래곤 피닉스 게이밍 큐어 김도우.
Best part of the Phoenix.
Okay. So this was a very quick scout.
Yes.
Really quick scout from Deer. And his probe is already very injured. So, like, this is kind of funny to watch. I'm watching those minerals, man. If his Nexus is a millisecond late. Ah, it's late!
One thing
You
about
can't
that,
keep your Nexus on time, don't do the crime. Tasteless.
Dude, it's important to point out that we've had a lot of Terrans throw down barracks in the middle of the map, do some rushes, so I think sending the probe out immediately, just getting confirmation.
Yeah.
Is there anything weird going on here that I need to watch out for? And so Deer starts off game one with a little bit of an economic sacrifice to gain more intel early on.
I think that's so reasonable.
Sure.
It's a good thing to point out because we have had so many proxies, but not... There's been a range of what the proxies do. But yeah, a move like that, like just scouting that early, you're basically countering it. Like you see even the command center start time.
So there's a bunker being built behind the Nexus, behind the minerals of the Nexus, I should say. And there's a Reaper inbound, and Deer has not noticed it at all, has not scouted it.
He wants to be Maru so bad.
And this is going to definitely 100% get inside the bunker.
Yeah, no issue there. But this is going to be the only unit in it, so this is not really all that scary. Maybe you have to make a shield battery, but I'm not even sure of that. With only one Reaper in there, you can kind of dodge shots a little bit.
It does slow down just being able to utilize that Nexus as much as you'd want to.
Yeah.
I mean, there's very little sacrifice going on here on the part of the Terran. And, you know, as the Stalker is microed away, that means probes are going to be eating shots. And this is lost mining time early on.
It's actually already overpaid for itself.
Yeah, I think sometimes people don't appreciate that just because the workers weren't killed doesn't mean the lost mining time, especially with how smooth the AI is in StarCraft 2. I mean, that's a lot of... there's even a worker killed off here.
And a second one. Okay, so this is actually doing so much.
Yeah, this is pretty crazy. Now, even the probe's getting microed away. Again, he's going to be able to salvage the bunker.
And the Reaper gets
get a
scout.
My God. This is like the ultimate value here.
Yeah, it really is.
Gets a final probe kill.
Are you actually kidding me?
We have 3 kills here. Delayed mining. You know, a scout that was able to be pulled off just so you know exactly what kind of game you can have. You know all the possibilities, at least for now.
Well, I tell you.
That's an incredible opening for Cure.
It really was. It really, really was.
And what's funny is, you know, the scout that tried to confirm there was no aggression was not able to identify that factor, that the bunker's just being made there.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, that's a very good point.
I think out of so many of the early games we've casted this year of StarCraft 2, this is by far one of the most dominant openings we've seen.
Which is so funny because it like took almost nothing from Cure.
Yeah.
And Deer just, like, I mean, he tried to stay on point with his build order, and it took him a while to kill that off. Now, one thing to point out, Cure is using exactly Parting's build: 4 gates, Prism, Blink. There's an observer going across the map right now as well. So let's see if he can be like Parting.
Yeah, and if you can, Parting's control the very best in the world at times. Good scan. So already, okay, this is a really bad day for Deer.
That was,
By the way, the Observer...
not the smoothest thing I've ever seen, just flying it right in there and having it die.
Yeah, and the Observer is a really important part of this rush.
It truly is.
It's not... I know that a Warp Prism can see on high ground, but not the same way an Observer can if you hide it correctly. And so
the biggest change between Game 1 and 2 of Mario vs. Parting was more frequent scanning to kill the Observers.
Yeah.
That's how important the Observers are with this rush. Okay, he's going to get a nice free kill there. So that's, that's reasonable. That's good. But Stim's about to finish. There's already Marauders being made. Medevacs are going to be coming out. There's a Siege tank in position.
Now, generally speaking, if you go Stalkers and you have Blink, and you're doing especially a aggressive push like this, is this even called a push? I don't know what this is, like a harass / push / like you're going to see where you're going to...
It's a macro all-in.
By the way, the second Observer's here. Let's see if this actually gets scanned. I'm almost surprised he sieges that after losing the first one.
Which, oh.
The Observer there?
Yeah.
Just,
well, is it far enough to the side? No, it's
no,
kind of right
he
in
could
the
just
middle, isn't
scan
it?
it and kill it.
Yeah, he could. All right, so Deer right now trying to pick off this bunker. I think he will get it, yeah. So that was actually a very nice pickoff right there. So that's a start to the push. Of course, he is teching up behind.
Third base coming down here. But, losing a bunker is fine if they don't do much more damage than that.
Oh, yeah. That's like that's the first thing you kind of are okay with dying, right? Like, it's a defensive structure. It's there to defend. And you haven't really lost anything if you lost the bunker.
Sure. Now, the Zealots have been loaded up into the Warp Prism. He could try to drop these in the main. He could even try to Bulldog on top of the tank. That's where you Zealot bomb the tank. But this looks like it's pretty far away, so probably going to be pointed more towards, as Protoss backs off, this can fly in and punish the Terran for being aggressive.
Looks like he got that Observer, by the way. So the Observer now gone. Yeah. Another one bites the dust. And a Medevac being sent out. Of course, Deer is pretty blind right now. His vision consists of his area and his Stalkers and his Prism. So that incoming Medevac has potential to do a lot of damage.
And these Stalkers are also pretty badly bruised with no way to really recover besides the shields, of course. So I'm curious to see, it looks like we probably won't have a push immediately here from Terran with a third CC, but when it eventually does come, Stalkers are not the easiest thing to transition out of compared to some things. Especially when you haven't done that much damage. You invested in the Warp Prism, you invested in a lot of them early on, and you just mostly didn't kill anything. And he actually is going to push here as he sees this Medevac coming down.
And look at that, a nice scan. Now this counter drop with this Prism is very, very important, but already waiting for him. Look at that, surrounds with the SCVs.
I suppose there's a degree of predictability with this, right? You see the Warp Prism, you go, well,
you have to expect it. This is a high-level move. He gets the Prism, though.
Okay, now this Colossus is actually attacking the tank here. Along with that Immortal, these force fields are pretty good, but maybe not enough, as we're seeing damage on both sides here of the Protoss base.
Yeah, really massive damage on both sides. It seems like Deer should be able to end up pulling, maybe just barely not.
There's just enough Medevacs, even the drop Medevac merging in with the rest of this attack here. And
he is going to end up holding all of this, and he killed a lot of SCVs with that Prism.
Yeah, 21 were killed, whereas 9 were killed here for Protoss, but we have Cure coming down here and merging with the rest of this army. And, this next push, it's going to be a lot. I mean, we saw, I think it was it 2 Colossi killed and 1 Immortal, right?
At least 1. I think only 1 Colossi.
Was it only 1?
Maybe I'm off.
Or I think there was 1 in the main that was defending 2 that was
that's
killed.
right.
So 2 there. Robotech overall has been lowered pretty heavily here, which means a lot of times the bigger pushes from Terran with infantry can be a little bit stronger. The more Colossi and Immortals you have, the weaker. The Marines are weaker to the Colossi. The Immortals are weaker. What am I saying? The Marines are weaker to the Colossi. Hold on a second.
The Mortals are weaker to Mutalisks.
Yeah, that's what. Why is my brain not working today?
So another drop in the main.
What I would say is the Immortals are Marauders are weaker to the Immortals.
Yes.
So those two combinations. There you go. Woo! All right.
You got it out.
We're off to a great start here in GSL.
Okay.
Push coming forward here, but I don't think it would be wise for Deer to commit.
He can't do anything with this push. He's just kind of sitting there looking to see if something can happen with those force fields. If you start to come out of the choke, maybe he can pick off a few more units. Definitely a down and dirty, scrappy game thus far. Disruptor's starting to be made. I think that's really important for Deer right now because it feels like Kira's army is so vastly better. Look how much stronger this army is than the garbage that Deer has.
The garbage.
Yeah, he's got like two of
I mean, you're basically
Colossus.
right. I mean, this is a very flimsy army.
Yeah, it doesn't have a lot of health in it. It doesn't have a lot of damage.
No War Prism to counterattack either. Oh no, there is made somewhere, but I don't see it. There it is. Okay. But yeah, you need that because otherwise, unless you're going to try to counterattack with your Colossi and Stalkers, like go around their army, and then when they come back, you recall, which only buys you a little bit of time.
Yeah, and you can't even recall like a proper army, right? Because of the radius.
No.
So.
Oh my gosh, if he catches this,
Yeah,
just out of vision.
Or was it the medevacs that were just out of vision?
So we have Doom Drop Artosis.
Yeah, that's
as people
a lot
call
of supply right there.
That's my least favorite terminology in all of StarCraft 2 casting.
Oh, I thought it was Foreigner.
Drop of Doom. No. Yeah, Foreigner is definitely another one. When we're on the BlizzCon stage, we're like, he is a foreigner, and everybody's like, is he American? You're like, yeah, sorry guys, we're so insular here in the StarCraft community.
Oh my God. Everything getting targeted down. Kira just starting to smash through here. The Disruptor's the only thing between Deer and death.
Nice disruptor shots, but I just don't know if there's enough meat to the Protoss army here to try to hold this. We have everything coming down now. DT's a War Prism and the rest of the army to try to come here and confront this push. The Nexus 100% goes down.
Oh, Warping and Stalkers on top of Marauders that are killing is natural.
This is a series of excellent decisions from Cure that have put him in this position where it looks like there's very little that Deer can do to stop him.
Yeah. It just, this game so far to me looks like Cure being better.
Yeah. Oh, I totally agree.
He's playing a very solid game overall. Yeah, he took some additional damage. He could have been a little bit cleaner defending the War Prism push.
You know,
but other than that, this has been beautiful.
I don't know about opening with this. I know it's a strong build and it's all over the ladder, but at the same time, it's like, this is probably the big thing Terran was looking to try to fight and practicing to play against here.
Very likely.
Yeah, I just don't know if this is a great opening here for Deer, but let's see.
Well, you say that, and then I'm watching every SCV die, right?
Yeah, that is true.
So we're up to 3 Disruptors. We're about 2 Disruptor shots away from a Deer victory at this point, right? Look how many SCVs he's killed. It's crazy. Well, I guess there's still 40 workers out for Cure. Better than what Deer's got going on. Those purple Archons aren't going to last for long. Their DPS isn't that high either. Just slightly higher than Sentry DPS.
So, Protoss is going to try to come out with this army. This is possibly going to be a very good catch, though. Hold on. The Disruptor shots, if they can connect with the infantry here as Terran's retreating, well, that would be huge.
That would be huge. And pretty decent, like a couple of them. I mean, these are not the worst shots in the world, but he needs a little bit bigger than that.
Oh my gosh,
good
beautiful. Just, you know, completely spreading in every direction.
Okay, a couple good force fields. Does throw another disruption hit, and hits, but not good enough.
I mean, that was Cure. Bigger, faster, stronger.
Yeah. Well played by Cure. I really like that initial bunker and how much that ended up doing. I think that Deer didn't deal with that super well. Deer's Prism play was immaculate. He really did a fantastic job with his War Prisms, but the rest of everything didn't go that well for him.
Well, I mean, the Observer just, I guess, kind of a cavalier move to just walk that in, and it was immediately shot down. And you have to know, especially with how fine-tuned builds have become now, Terran literally knows on the clock when that comes in.
Yeah, and you're looking for it anyways. It's like if you don't have anything else on the map, what do you think? He's looking at the water on the map to see how beautiful it is. Like,
no. it's you know it's coming, and also you know that that's essential in identifying what's inside their base. He then sieged the next one, like right up there, which it's like there's going to be a scan eventually, and you're going to lose that too. I don't know. Some questionable decisions there from Deer. Will we have a similar build? Is this going to be a build that Protosses are going to just try to work out?
Well, I mean, it's solid in a lot of ways, and it gives you win potential, so maybe, but if we just see that every game PvT for the rest of the day, I'm not going to be happy.
전투 준비 완료. 카이지 게임 디어 백동준. 드래곤 피닉스 게이밍 큐어 김도우.
All right. Not so quick a scout this time, but is going down the side.
Let's talk about the build we were seeing, at least in game one here in Deer, but we saw from parting. Because there's a lot that I really like about this build. I don't know if, I mean, I'm a little bit surprised that it was used that much in day one of round of 8, but you know, I think there's some rationale to it, right? I mean, it gives you a lot of different opportunities where if Terran isn't defending correctly, you can punish so hard. And if they are defending perfectly, you just don't attack in. You still have a Warp Prism.
Yeah.
You still have the ability with the Stalkers to try to kite and blink away from a push or counterattack. You can blink and run by stuff and still use recall. And you've got a Warp Prism.
Yeah.
So Terran have to be doubly prepared. It's hard for the Terran to get the third base in a quick fashion, whereas Protoss, because they have around when it seems like when they get about 10 or 12 Stalkers, it's like the muscle and damage there, if controlled correctly, is so strong. They do get their third base ahead of you, and then you just tech in a robo from that. I mean, it seems like it's a strong, flexible build. It's not, unless I'm wrong, dependent on any set of circumstances necessarily going your way.
Yeah, I would definitely say so, right? Like, what is the parting build? How is it different from some of the other more standard openers that we've seen? Well, there's a 4th gateway, right?
Yeah.
It's like 3-gate blink with Observer is nothing new. You know, that's a pretty standard way that you can open it, and obviously there's stuff like that gets mixed up quite a bit. You might see, you know, less gates or slower robo, something like that. But yeah, it gives you like a lot of potential threats. It gives you a lot of potential answers. It's very player focused. It's kind of like creating opportunities, which I always like builds like that personally, right?
Sure.
It's like, okay, you have all these active units. There's a bunch of different decisions and moments of micromanagement that both players must undertake to try to figure out who's going to win the game. And so I think a lot of players would like that, right? Especially with the amount of power that you can have if Terran does something wrong.
Yeah, there's just so much that I can really appreciate about it, but I still wonder if it's viable to do over and over and over again. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it just seems like use it more than half the time, but have something crazy enough that they have to be on their toes even in the very early game.
You're definitely right about that. Like anything used over and over and over again, if it just keeps working, either you are way better than your opponents or it's broken.
Yeah.
And I don't think that this would be something that would be broken. The Stalker, God help him, does not need any more nerfs. And you know, I think it's like, it was very interesting to see Parting do that. I still don't think it was necessarily the right call to use it as much as he did, even though he ended up winning the series. But it looks like, you know, Deer is, I mean, he's going pretty similar. Not exactly the same, though. Playing a little bit defensively here against these Hellions. But yeah, you saw what Kier did that game, right? He got a good amount of bio early on. He wasn't very tech-heavy. I think that that's probably part of the key to playing against this, right? This might be the type of metagame shift that forces Terrans into heavier bio early on.
Well, also, I think for a while, Terrans are being left alone a little bit too much.
Yes.
You know what I mean? They were just being left to their own devices. They were getting to kind of tech into whatever they wanted to. And you get a third CC, and I think just being able to really kind of get in there and be like, listen, are you respecting me? Do you respect me as a player that has the opportunity to get Blink and a Warp Prism? Like, I have this stuff. Okay?
Yeah.
I think that way you're at least...
This is the street urchin Protoss forcing the nobleman Terran to respect him.
Yes, exactly.
Do you have too many houses?
And this way...
I love it.
And this way, you're also forcing the Terran to play a game that at least he prepared for. Because if they didn't prepare for it, if they didn't prepare for your type of game, then you're just going to kill them.
Yeah.
And then okay, they hold it. All right, well then we're fine.
Well, this one's definitely a different variation, right? He's gotten the quicker third Nexus. He did not go up to that fourth gate, which obviously gives you that extra money to be able to expand a bit. And Cure figured that out pretty quickly. Is trying to get some harassment done. Unfortunately for him, loses that medevac in one volley.
Yeah.
Very quick move there from Deer.
That was as ideal as it could possibly be.
Yeah.
For Deer. I mean, you get the medevac with everything in it. I'm actually kind of surprised that Cure's still on the map roaming.
Well, I guess his roaming army right now technically can fight those stalkers.
But he's doing a lot on the map. He's taking a CC out in the open. There's stalkers, again, out. The army's not with this defending.
Yeah. I think if you can kill... Oh, I love
this. This is a funny situation here.
I love it. That was awesome.
That was incredible.
That was awesome. To drop the mines and target the prism.
Yeah.
Because that's the only thing that can't blink away.
Yeah.
You know what? Stalkers should be able to pick up prisms. The juggling should go both ways.
Yeah, yeah. Just things going in and out of each other, and it's all weird. And yeah. Oh, God.
Guys, we're all made out of atoms. This makes sense. Okay.
Oh, nice snipe on the SCV.
Yeah, that third base is up. I like the roaming though, like what he was trying to do there, because I think even if you, let's say you hit a base trade where you have to cancel your third, killing their third, I think it's very worth it as Terran to be in that position. Especially when they're more gateway centric, right? Like they aren't going to scale quite as well as your bio play.
Observer. I am still a little bit surprised the third CC wasn't made somewhere safer. As the medevac was killed, I think. I mean, it's fine because he got it up anyways, but you know what I'm saying. Yeah. Another blink away here.
Do you see, by the way, like, he's really controlling this situation so well. Look at this. Oh my God, I love it.
Whoa.
Like, here is playing, like, really super well here. He keeps denying vision from the high ground. Like, we saw an observer trying to go down, he scanned it, killed it. We saw this hallucination come. Oh my God.
Oh my gosh, this is gonna get so many probes. Seven kills.
Probes. Yeah, everything is going really well for Cure here. Again, it feels to me like what I'm watching is Cure is just playing a higher level of StarCraft. Like he's denying so much. He's very active on the map. Yeah, he's lost some medevac here and there and everything, but he's foiling all the aggressive plans of Deer.
Execution definitely going to Cure here. And you know, this army is not. Oh no. Oh. Wow. You know, there's a moment in these games where Toast and me, without even looking at each other, both turn around in our chairs to look at the player screen.
Yeah, see their faces.
Screen. Yeah.
Deer didn't really flinch. Kind of speaks to what a professional he is.
Poker faced.
I tell you, I would be saying some choice words out loud after losing that prism. But, oh my God, look at this flank from Cure.
Yeah, well, this is like
just smashing. Cure just looks so strong. He looks really, really strong.
Supply is way up here for Cure too. Oh my God. And there is a fourth base being taken. Did he see that? I think he just barely didn't see that at all.
Well, he's moving north.
Yeah, he's backed up though.
Whether he saw it or not, he sensed it at least, I guess. But yeah, everything looks really fantastic for Cure. He's continued to grow. He really hasn't taken much damage anywhere. And again, he just keeps stopping Deer from doing anything he wants. Oh my God, an immortal pathing in the wrong direction there. 2 probes in the army. Like, you can see that this is just not...
Oh, were there 2 probes in the army?
Yeah, there was 2 probes in the army. Which is like, are you drag selecting here? How did those 2 probes get in your army? They're not good fighting units.
Now, they're going to come... Cure's going to come here from the bottom. This is something that Deer can easily defend.
Yeah, definitely has enough there, but does he have enough here?
And this is the pylon that powers the Robo, I believe? No, he's got one extra one over there, but it doesn't matter. There won't be a Robo in this game for much longer.
My God. He's so on top of it. The Stalkers come down, but I don't think he even cares about that.
No, his army's too strong. Upgrades are too good. Zealots are coming back here. And keep in mind, when he kills the Stalkers off, he can actually pick up and leave.
do anything he wants. He's killed so much at this point. He's targeting down these pylons and everything. Those Zealots on their way back to help ran into a mine.
God.
Leaves a Marauder in the main base as a message to Deer.
Cure is everywhere as a message.
Yeah. It's like
the one that
he
doesn't
goes up
fear
and he
death.
sees the one Marauder. The Marauder's like, don't mess with Cure, and then he just concussive shells himself.
That's right. It's like in Conan the Barbarian, where James Earl Jones is playing that guy, and he's like, "I'll show you what power is," and he like points to that person on top of the cliff, and is like, "Jump, it's okay," and the person just jumps off and dies. Like lands on a bunch of pots, then he just turns back to Arnold Schwarzenegger.
That's power.
That's power.
That's the type of power I want.
That's what that Marauder did.
All right, double Robo being added in right now. He's going to try to get into Disruptors. I think that's really nice. I like to see this type of thinking in a game where things haven't been going right for you. Give yourself some volatility.
Yeah.
Oh my God, comes in with the EMPs. This army way too big.
Yeah, this, is this the killing blow? It may very well be.
This is like the third killing blow.
Yeah. It's like
Deer has 9
It's like
lives,
the scary
though.
movie where Deer's been killed several times, and we think the credits are going to come up, and then the body rises up, like,
Yeah.
ah!
It's
And
like
then they
the
shoot
day
him in
after
the
tomorrow
head
or
again.
whatever.
Yeah.
A pretty good Disruptor hit, but it's just, this stuff is not going to be enough. There's just so much Cure here.
You know, as long as you've cast games, there's always a sign of the end when the Vikings have landed and the attack continues forward.
Yes. So oftentimes the Vikings land and you're like, okay, that's when you gave up. That's when you knew it was over. It would be like landing your medevacs, but they don't have an attack.
And they can't heal.
Yeah, they don't do anything. They just land and die. It's a crash button. Well,
okay.
I guess Deer processing this loss right now.
Well, I mean, things are going pretty quickly today here for Deer. I think he said in the interview he put in a lot of prep. GG, he put in a lot of prep. He was hoping to do what he had planned to do in these games.
Yeah.
And clearly that's not happening. And, you know, this goes back to what we were saying earlier, where it's very hard for you and I to really get a good idea of where Deer's going to be until we see the games, because he's so inconsistent.
Yeah, and well, today I don't even feel like that is necessarily the issue. The play I'm seeing out of him, I think, defeats most Terran players in the world handily. But what I'm seeing out of Cure is just really, really beautiful. Where, yeah, I mean, for instance, he loses a medevac with 2 mines. That's fine, whatever. But he's varying his builds a little bit. They're a little bit more sturdy in the early game. The way that he's roaming is preventing a lot of bad luck scenarios, right? He's catching observers, he's catching hallucinations, he's forcing the stalkers back. Deer isn't able to do anything he wants to do.
We're going to Everdream for game number 3. Only 2 spots remaining in the top 4. Cure, if he wins this game, he goes and gets that 3rd slot in the final 4. Otherwise, Deer is going to have to win every game from here on out in an ultimate comeback fashion to move on. Let's start game 3 now.
전투 준비 완료.
Okay.
Quick scout with the
That was scout, like, right away. So that's normally the scout time of Max Pax build, so maybe that's what we're going to see. Maybe it's harassment.
Oh, SCV was also sent out.
No,
early
maybe it's
too.
a cannon rush. I don't know. But he starts following this SCV. That can't have been the plan. Because as soon as you're following that SCV, he builds the barracks at home. Like, that's obvious, right?
But a second SCV is sent out.
Oh. Sneaky, sneaky.
So this is a pretty good improv here from Cure.
Whose build is it anyways?
No one's gonna get that joke because we're too old, but by the way, the eBay.
Dude, this is what I feel really bad for Deer right now, because I think he had some sort of aggressive plan
Yeah, but
in place, and then he saw the SCV, and now, like, He can't build a Nexus,
Dude.
and there's like, and he's gonna get Widow Mines made in his main
Yeah,
base,
exactly.
you know.
But this is pretty smart here from Kira. He saw his SCV scouted. I don't think this is what's his plan to make the eBay there. I think he wanted to make something else on the map. But he says, okay, that's fine. I'll make an eBay, and then I'll just throw down a factory over. Yeah.
Yeah, I think what he'll do is float in and make like 3 Hellions and then go, because that's gonna get you the maximum damage.
Probably. I don't think Protoss is going to look for this either. I'm assuming on Deer's part that, and this is where scouting, if you're not thinking of every possibility, can still backfire.
Yeah.
Is you think, oh, good, I denied his proxy, and it's like, no, he made a second one come out and does a different proxy now.
It was this was a very good shift in strategy here for Kira.
Yeah.
That's for sure. But yeah, it's going to take a bit, right? Like, maybe he wants to put his 3rd pylon on the right-hand side. Maybe not, but it's going to take a while anyways because that Nexus is finishing up. Oh, okay. You know what? Even if he does, it doesn't matter because it's actually just going to be a Hellion drop rather than floating in. He doesn't quite have the nerve of TY to float like 4 barracks into his main base. Right? That was TY, wasn't it?
I think so, yeah.
That was one of the dumbest things I've ever seen.
It's just so funny when it works. Uh-oh. Oh my God, it just gets worse. It just gets worse.
So everything goes wrong for Deer.
Deer is like Wile E. Coyote and Kira's the Roadrunner in this.
Well, the thing is, Kira is smashing him so hard. Like, the Coyote smashes himself. So
sometimes
it's like the Roadrunner fighting back, you know? It's
Yeah.
not just a pain in
The Roadrunner has
tunnel.
a gun. Shoots the Coyote.
The Roadrunner has raptor legs. Okay, here comes this Hellion drop. Let's see what he gets done with it.
Okay.
Not too bad so far.
Yep. 5 kills.
Oh my God.
7.
He's not going to slow down either. Look at
Yeah,
this.
he keeps all of them alive.
They're all high health too.
By
the way-
God. And now there's a Marine here.
Dark Shrine
This
on
Marine
the way.
probably shouldn't do anything, but we'll see. He's like, look at me, I've got Hellions in here.
Yeah. I'm trying to drop again.
I'm trying to drop. I thought you went back to fight my Marine. And then watch, there's going to be a Widow Mine that's going to be dropped in here.
Oh
my God. He hasn't even moved the probes.
This is crazy. 12 probes dead already. But you know what? Where there's a Prism and a Dark Templar, there's a chance.
There's always hope.
All right, you
I
just
gotta
started
say,
eBay.
Kira looks
Yeah,
so
you see
good. It's so crazy.
I know. He's styling on him right now. Oh, he cancels.
Oh.
Cancels the Dark Shrine. I think that's probably a good call, right?
Yeah, not a bad idea at
Your
all.
opponent saw him.
All right, Act 3, go.
Thought he
I
might
like
get the
your
ones
gas,
at the
yeah.
right.
Yes, me too.
Oh, he's getting his revenge upon this factory right now, at least. Some anti-DT measures that don't need to be being made.
Yeah.
Look at.
I still put
mean,
Kira in a great spot, though.
Oh yeah. Definitely like where he's at.
I think another
much,
thing is
much
like
more.
going DT and then not doing it. It probably puts you in a place where there's more opportunities for you strategically, but it doesn't put the Terran behind. It's not like we're looking at his turrets and laughing. You fool!
You fool!
What are you gonna do with that? He's like, I don't know, lots of stuff later on. Maybe
Yeah.
drive away a warp prism. You're
It's
like,
yeah. It's,
oh yeah,
it's pretty useful. Like, don't you think?
yeah. He's like, well, if he warps and DTs later on, I'm fine too.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, I guess you're right. You still get the upgrades from the eBay too, huh? Look at Deer. He's just so fine with his observer, just right there, sieged up.
May as well. Got to take some risks in this game. All right, so Deer takes his third Nexus. He has his second Colossus on the way right now. Ooh, I like this. He has in the path going to the third base, he has a mine. So now you're going to send units up here.
He's like, stop! Oh, I guess that actually, fortune was on the side of Deer there. Could have connected with more of those stalkers. Stim about to finish up as well.
He's added some more gates, getting that Colossus count up. Very important stuff. But eventually, Kier's going to roll out of his base. He's gonna have a lot with him too.
I like the way that these things are loaded in here. It's very good for my OCD. It's like, oh, that's nice. Yeah. It looks like the middle seat's not so uncomfortable after all in the in this medevac.
Yeah, it's not too
it's
bad.
Good. You know.
It's not like one of those dumb early game Widow Mine drops where the Widow Mines take a picture and put it on Twitter about how they have a whole row to themselves.
Okay. The push is now going to come here from Terran. Terran's mustered a pretty strong army. Oh my gosh.
It's so funny.
Everything just keeps getting worse for Deer. I've actually lost count of how many bad things have just happened in this series.
Well, right now, I just see a lot of wasted stim stays. That Prism was bait.
Okay, now he sees this is coming, but is he going to be ready to stop it? 2 Colossi.
Yeah, I think he has enough.
Yeah. He's like, no.
Oh, until you move all the stalkers out of their perfect position.
Oh, that was the one that had the well-seated units as well, by the way.
Well, hopefully he'll be able to shoot that down. That is a pretty big army in here.
Wow.
Unpowers 3 of the gates.
What? Okay. There is so much happening in this game. That just connected with a lot over there.
Oh my god, a lot of probes starting to go down here as well.
Look at here, he's everywhere.
He really is. He's like sunlight and darkness, Tasteless. You can't name anywhere that doesn't have light or darkness there.
Yeah, he's incredible, man. He's every place that you can be to do damage. Look at this, not skipping to beat it at home with macro.
Yeah, his supply going up rather steadily here. Dude. This is... Kier looking like he really deserves a round of 4 to me right now.
Yeah. Well, he definitely earned it here.
Deer is, he's trying to hold on, right? He's taken a 4th base. That hasn't been scouted yet, so that's something. And
the 3rd base is just now being taken here for Cure. And normally we do like players with more bases, but in this game, Cure has been beating down on Deer so much that tends to point us to a conclusion that probably the larger push later on from Terran will kill the Protoss. Not always. Maybe Protoss defends perfectly, but in a lot of these games, it's like you kind of see the game going in that direction.
Okay, 4 Vikings at a time right now. This makes me feel like Cure is going to go for the kill shot pretty soon. When you start producing those Vikings, it's not to sit them around.
Yeah. It's to kill everything and then land them before the guy GG's. Now, what do you think about Deer pushing across the map here?
I think he wants to try to keep Cure back, and if Cure answers Deer's army with like most of his army, then suddenly he can do something with the Prism in the main base, right? So he's like, he has to look for some sort of damage. He has to keep him busy, because otherwise stuff like this just continues to happen. Oh, man.
Oh, man.
He's like, yeah, no, I can kill all these weapons.
I know this exactly, buddy. I know that exactly, too. So the push comes out now. We have, what, 3 Colossi with the army?
I think so, and also at least 1 Disruptor.
Okay.
Okay, 2 Colossi, 1 Disruptor, another Disruptor on the way.
Okay. The Disruptor's not... I mean, it's not bad, of course, but I don't think it's going to be enough. If he dodges 1 or 2 shots...
Well, he's going to have time for 1 shot before this game might get decided, I think.
Yeah, I think so.
The Colossus are not even going to be an issue in this game. Oh, God, did he just siege where he was getting hit? Oh, no, just out of range. Nicely done. Okay.
Oh, my God. Well, I would give up SCVs any day to have the kind of push potential that Terran has here.
Yeah, he kills a base, and he should be able to do more. He's losing a lot at home. You know, Deer's starting to pull something together with this harassment.
You know, man, I'm not sure. I think this army is just too big.
I think you're probably right.
I think it's the idea was there. In fact, he might even lose his main CC if he's not. Okay, picks it up. But, I mean, does he even have the income to really warp in more units to keep this going, right? I mean,
yeah, it's pretty low. Well, he warps in more units to keep it going, which means he can't warp in any more for his army.
And here we go. The Vikings say, "My wings are tired." Uh-oh. Trying to pick up again.
Yeah, a huge amount of units at home here as well, though.
So it's now 2 base to 3 base with Terran in the lead here. The army supply is far superior for Terran, and the army sophistication is actually better here for Terran as well.
Yeah.
So this is, I think we're in the death throes of Deer here. He's going to warp in some sentries. That's probably the best he can ask for. Hope to get some good splits on this army. Pick his fights wisely. He's going to have to make the next warp in back at home to defend, which means this push is coming over here on the other side of the map over here. Maybe a little bit weaker.
Yeah, let's see what he gets done. He's in here right now, forcing those SCVs back. Of course, as the army comes down for Cure, not really going to be able to fight there. Still harassing with 3 Marines over on the other side of the map.
GG Cure. Just absolute domination.
Yeah.
And Deer looking shaken after that series.
He torpedoed him that game. That was wild. I don't mean he hit him with a torpedo. I'm saying he put him in a torpedo tube and then shot him into an underwater mountain.
He put him in a torpedo tube and shot him into another torpedo.
Oh, damn.
Yeah.
Right before Deer hit, he's like, Dark, is that you? Ah!
We're going to have an interview now with Cure. Obviously a crushing defeat here for Deer. I mean, that hurts, you know?
Yeah.
Came in here, put a lot of prep, and it was over so quickly. Andy, go ahead.
And we have our third round of 4 qualifier, and he is Cure. Congratulations. Thank you. Wow, it's been 4 years moving on to the round of 4 Cure. We need to hear from you. How do you feel? Well, the preparation time was long, so I was able to practice a lot. But I received so much stress from the practice. But I never anticipated to win so easily today. And I think my build worked out really well. And I felt like partying going for the 4 gate is gonna be a trend, the recent meta, so I was able to cope with that well today. Well, taking note of other games too, Cure. Very nice. Your strategizing and your mind games looked really great today. And your head-to-head record against Deer has been 0 wins, 9 losses. But now you acquired a win today. In the past, I used to have good basis of the skills. And I'm not a player who has really like bad basics. And Deer, on the other hand, has been really good with his skills too. So I knew that I had to twist the game in order to beat him. I mean, in the past you had solid skills, and now you have phenomenal strategizing and mind games too. But I still think I'm not like with the top Terran players right now. I think I'm gonna practice more. It is your round of 4 in 4 years. I'm sure you're really happy right now. And your opponent will be decided in the later match today. It is between Trap and Innovation. So how's Trap? Well, I practice against Trap a lot. So, you know, I don't want to play him. But Innovation is looking so strong right now. But even if I have to prepare for a matchup, I would prefer a TVP. So I'm sure you're thankful to many people. And anything you want to say before you go?
빠르게 이겨서 좀 실감이
Well,
안
I mean, it's
나는데
been a long time of preparation,
다음
but
경기도
I never expected
좀더
to win so easily.
재밌는 경기
So next match, I'm gonna deliver a good performance. Once again, congratulations, Cure. Thank you.
네, 이렇게 4년 만에
Thanks, Andy.
최강 진출을 이룬 김도욱
Crazy
선수
performance
만나봤는데요.
from
계속해서
Cure.
GSL
I knew he
패강
could
기대를
win.
많이 드립니다.
I was one of the guys who's like, "Yeah, I think Deer's going to take it," and I was wrong. I did not imagine it would be that one-sided.
No, I mean, I felt like Cure had a very good chance going into this, but to 3-0 like that, didn't see that coming.
We've only been on air for 55 minutes. So Cure crushed Deer in a best-of-5 while we still had all this in-between game. Phil, that's crazy. We're going to go to a short break. When we come back, our next best-of-5 to find out that final slot in the top 4. Don't go away.